Hey, unstuckers. Josh here, as joined every week by my co-host, Cel. Say what up, Cel.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Hey, we're back for another Casual Friday. If you're a new listener to the show, the Casual Fridays is where we talk about ourselves and our businesses and have like a mini mastermind session. And we're super, super casual, as you can see by my hoodie, because it's really freaking cold here all of a sudden. And by Chel's broom in the background there. Again, we do Casual Fridays on YouTube, so you can check us out at our YouTube channel, unstuck.institute. Or you can just listen along and we're just floating voices while you jog or drive or whatever the heck you're doing right now. So, Chell, how's your week been?
My week has been interesting in the sense that, it was a long weekend, right? Like, prior to this week. So
Uh-huh.
I took Labor Day weekend off. Didn't do anything, didn't do outreach. It was great. So interesting in that sense, but I didn't do as much outreach as I would have wanted, but that's okay. So I'm learning to not necessarily go with the flow, but be okay with where I'm at and meet myself there for right now
Sure.
until we have furniture. I mean, we have more furniture than we did last time we spoke on Cash Fry.
Hey, that's good.
Obviously, I'm sitting down now, not
You were sitting
standing.
in a chair. That's pretty exciting.
Hey,
Big
dude,
life
it's
update. You've got a chair.
we have two, and David
Ooh,
built them.
ooh,
Yeah.
fancy.
Oh, he shoot me. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Be quiet.
so
You're recording.
right, yeah, for real. So I have notes for myself, but I needed those 4 days to kind of unwind, relax, just kind of get my head screwed back on. So I went into this week, early morning Tuesday, just very determined to get things done, and I did. So I had some really good outreach, some really good conversations, but that's also where I'm kind of hitting, I don't want to say a roadblock, but frustration, I would say. So let me just read my notes. So initially, when I signed up for the online course that I'm doing right now, I asked the person who's doing the course, the person who I'm paying money to help me with this, to keep a fire lit under my ass and help me stay on top of it. You know what I mean? Just to have someone to check in with. And yes, I can have weekly phone calls, and I think that's kind of I'm assuming her perspective on it, just check in during those weekly phone calls. But when I was in Florida, it was a little bit easier because of the time zone. Here, I'm checking in at 8:30 at night or 1:30 in the morning. So it's more challenging to check in like
Youch.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and she's less responsive on the Facebook group that I would have wanted her to
Mm.
be. Sometimes there's 3 or 4 days that go by until I get a response, and that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, sure.
So I think I'm frustrated in that sense that there's a lack of holding me accountable. Yes, I should be able to hold myself accountable, but I'm also paying you to hold me accountable,
Right.
you
It's
know?
kind of the point of these group courses.
Yeah. So I think that's where my frustration is, at least this week. And then I think my question for you, maybe you can help me with this a little bit, is I'm reaching out to these moms, right? Like last week, my hashtag was soccer mom. This week, I've gone for boss mom, busy mom. Mamahood has been pretty helpful in finding and reaching out to people I think would be decent candidates. But I think my initial question of do you often find it a challenge to make dinner on weeknights, or do you often find you lack time to make dinner on weeknights? Kind of stifles the conversation. And I don't know if that's really where I want the conversation to go, because then I often find that I'm trying to get more questions out of them. And I don't really know if Instagram is the right platform to do that. There needs to be a better transition, at least in my mind, from getting that conversation on Instagram to a really quick phone call where I can learn more about them without having to be oh, so what do you like to cook? How often do you cook? And asking them a bunch of questions on Instagram and waiting for that response back, because then it just gets awkward. And then after the third question I ask, people stop responding because it's annoying, you
Right.
know? And I
Right.
get that. So I think there needs to be a better transition. And maybe I need to ask her this question, but I have, and she's not really responding, and that's super annoying. But there just needs to be a better transition. And again, maybe it's that initial question that I'm asking that isn't accurate or like isn't like getting them in, but to get them on a phone call where I can actually gain more information and not waste their time via text, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's, I mean, I'm still doing outreach, but I don't know if I'm actually asking the right initial question to get
Hmm.
them like not necessarily sucked in, but like just to gain their attention to capture that potential client, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, it's like, how do you? Because I agree, like the conversation you're having is probably better had on the phone. Um, but how do you get them intrigued enough and bought in enough to get on the phone with you without
Exactly.
reaching out a little bit? So I think you're spot on that it's probably you're probably doing it kind of correctly. It's just the subject matter of the conversation needs to be different. I just don't know what that would be. Um,
I don't either.
so I've been doing a lot of trainings and whatnot that have um, mentioned phone calls and clarity calls and stuff, and a lot of them are using like ClickFunnels or something like that to get them into a funnel. But really, the idea is get them to a pre-recorded video
Hmm.
um, that then goes, cool, I'm interested, schedule a phone call right
Hmm.
after the video. So are you doing the video portion now? Have you done that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a click funnel that brings them to a complimentary like 30 to 45-minute training video of literally like basic meal prepping. So they're
Right.
getting value from that. And then if
Right.
they want afterwards, they can call me. But like, I just want them on like a quick 15-minute phone call. It's not even like a discovery session, clarity call, whatever you want to call it. It's literally just, I need to learn more info about you. And this is a better means of getting that info to even determine if you're going to be a good potential client for me. So, like, this
Yeah.
isn't even trying to sell them anything. This is literally just like a 15-minute, like, let's get these questions out of the way so I don't have to ask them over Instagram, you know?
Yeah, no, totally. I just wonder, like buy-in wise on the customer end of things, if you're just reaching out cold on Instagram and you say, let's have a phone call. I mean, I'm not actually one of the clients you're talking to, but like I think I would be like, why? Um, versus if I bought in with a video first, I might be more.
Yeah.
So maybe it's reaching out and being less interviewee about the Instagram conversation, get them to your
Hmm.
video, which should hopefully make them buy in more, and then have the phone call where your Instagram, I still don't know what the subject of the Instagram conversation is, unfortunately. I don't
Yeah.
have an idea for that. Um, but if it's short and sweet and less like, here's another question, here's another question, and it's more like, here's a question. Yeah, I totally get it. Hey, I made this for you, like video,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are going to ignore it. That's just the name of the game, I think, right? So that's fine. But if you can just get them to the funnel, right? That would
That's a
be the
good
name of the
idea.
game.
I think that might be a better approach because right now it feels very forced and like I have trouble keeping the conversation alive and like when I
Hmm.
asked the coach she was just like, "Oh, well, just like have a conversation." I'm like, "But there's only so many questions you can ask to like keep a conversation alive without being obnoxious." And like,
Is that the sound
oh,
of Germany's ambulance in the background there?
that's the sound of Europe's ambulances in the background.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Again, international podcast.
um, but yeah, no, like I asked the coach and she was just like, "Oh, just like have a conversation." I'm like, "It flows that easily for you all the time?" Like
Right,
it's
right.
been it's been a challenge and like if I don't do it first thing, there's like sincere anxiety about getting it done because I just have like all of these like sent messages piling up in my Instagram page and like it's no longer enjoyable and it's actually like anxiety provoking because there's no like actual conversations. And people I have reached out to that I've had a good conversation with, I guess one of two things happens, right? So like either I ask them if they want to hop on a call. That's happened like 2 or 3 times. Nothing. Either no response or no, I'm not ready. But like I just want to learn more information. Like that's I think like the point that I need to stress. Or two, I'm like, okay, well, here's this free complimentary video. Um, Please feel free to like follow my page and get some ideas from like these free highlights, like the highlights on my Instagram page. So like that's kind of the approach that I've been taking just to like gain some traction with them, right? So like if they do follow me, awesome. If not, that's fine too. But like if they follow me, then they'll see me multiple times popping up in their newsfeed. So that I feel like is a positive, right? Like that's a win for me. Um, Secondly, I think it might be beneficial to go on to the next stage of the online course and look into a little bit more the webinar platform that she puts together, because getting people, like having the funnel is one thing, but having them like interact with you on a different level can be beneficial as well. So I'm thinking something along the lines of a webinar, and I might be working on that a little bit more this week, even though her recommendation was have a significant list of people, like over 100 minimum. 500 is
Right.
better
Right.
to do a webinar. I don't know. We'll see. But I think I just need to like get the ball rolling on that and see if that um, piques more interest, because this cold reach out has been beyond challenging, like
Yeah.
beyond challenging. So yeah, I've reached
I'm
out to another dietitian as well to in this group to see what her to see what her feedback has been, but yeah, it's
yeah.
been almost defeating this week.
I'm looking for I can't find it, but somebody reached out to me like a week ago um via Facebook Messenger, and
Hmm.
it was like, "Hey, we're in the same music production group on Facebook, right?" And she was totally doing, I think, what you're talking about for a different niche, right? It was just like
Yeah,
reaching out. I offer this. I was trying to look for it. I can't find it in
and
my
like
recent
doing that,
things.
I see like on Instagram, like that can be a little weird, right?
Yeah,
Doing it on Facebook, if you find like if you're a part of these groups and like you actually do have something in common, that's a
right.
little less weird. And then I was also thinking about doing it on LinkedIn in addition to that. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
Facebook is not the place. Sorry, not Facebook. Instagram is not the place to do this for me. I just did it because I really enjoy Instagram, and it was a pleasure to be on. Now it stresses me out, but
Right. Yeah, but if you
maybe
can find
LinkedIn is a better
Facebook groups
approach.
where you know that they're into
Yeah.
your niche somehow, then that might help. And I wish I could find it, but what I do remember is it was a letter,
Yeah.
and it was like, you know, brief intro of like why I know you. We're in the group, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like, I'm doing this thing. This is what it's all about. It's a huge value. Check it out. Like
Hmm.
pretty low key. But then I think there was also something free. It was like, if the course isn't right for you, check out this video. Like,
Hmm.
that would have like probably I didn't click on it, but I'm sure it would have led me to a email and exchange to watch the video kind of thing, so she could hit me up next time she does the course it
Yeah.
live. She's doing like a live course kind of thing. Um, so anyway, if I find it, I will definitely forward it to you to see if you glean any ideas out of
Appreciated.
it.
So,
Um,
as the recipient of that, did you read the whole thing? Slash, did you respond?
I read the whole thing. I didn't respond and I didn't click. But I will say that she was offering a class that is a carbon copy of the class I took last year.
Okay.
So I'm not her intended audience because I already know the information she's peddling.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a good value, and because I was interested in the subject matter anyway, I read it. But then I was like, oh yeah, this is like somebody else's version of the class I took last year.
Yeah.
Um, so I think even though I didn't click on it, it piqued my interest because we are in the same group. It was my niche. Like I was
Okay.
interested, so I think that helped. Um, yeah, and then I guess whatever whatever your teacher in your class says whenever she gets back to you, I'm curious. And I think asking, you already did it once, but ask even more people in your group kind of what they're
Yeah.
doing. See
Yeah.
what's happening, if because those who are actually doing it, because not every online course has people who are actually doing the things, but
Definitely.
those who are actually doing it might have ideas. Or they might just be like, it's awkward as shit for me too, but it's working when I do this. Who knows?
Definitely.
So,
Yeah.
um,
So I'm just going to keep plugging away at that. I am going to focus a little bit on reaching out via webinar, seeing what that looks like, and going to that next stage in the course and exploring that a little bit more. But I'm also going to continue with outreach in this way. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
my goal for this coming week and just
good.
sticking with it. Oh, I also started reading my life book again on a regular basis. So yesterday I read through all of it for the first time in a while. And then today I didn't have the time for that. So I took a page out of your book and just read one page. Hey.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. Nice. Speaking of, if you didn't hear the episode earlier this week, guys, we launched our all new free Unstuck Life book to help you um, be productive and set your goals and stick to them.
Yes.
And it's totally free. So don't go buy somebody's, $30 whatever thing. We're giving it to you for free because, we love you. Hearts. Hearts. Um, so yeah, so check that out. What else you got going, Chell?
That's about it
That's
this
your
week. We got
that's your
chairs
week.
and that's it. Yeah.
When does furniture arrive?
I don't know.
No one knows.
I don't know.
Oh
Uh,
man.
things are made to order in Germany, so like we actually ordered furniture from like local furniture shops,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
their response every time was 10 to 12 weeks. So,
Well, there you go. There you go. Oh, side note, I was talking to some of my friends yesterday, and they said they were kind of looking at maybe getting a home gym kind of setup, like not a huge thing, but just like a bench and some dumbbells or whatever, because they don't want to go to the gym during COVID time, and they want to work out and blah blah blah. And they were like, "Yeah, so we just did a cursory look, and you can't get any of that equipment in the States right now. Like they're just it's sold out everywhere." I was like, I never thought
wow.
about that, but I'm sure there are a lot of fitness freaks who are like, I'm not going to the gym, but I need something
Yeah.
that, like, 5 months ago in the US we're like, all right, let's build a home gym right now.
Yeah, for
So
real.
crazy, crazy times.
Wild.
Well, my week has been short because it's Monday off. That was good. I took a Monday off of fixing computers and got my act together on a lot of things, including building my funnel and email chain and whatnot. And so that's good. And that kind of set my week up for other things to do, which I've been doing. So I'm at a point now where I've got my entire email chain figured out. So when they opt into my free PDF for my course, they now get a series of 10 emails over the course of 10 days.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and it's all just little pieces of information, or check this out here, or some of it's just like text, and some of it's like, here's a video I made for you, and it's a video of me, so they can get kind of used to me and my voice and decide, hey, I like him, maybe he would be a good teacher, like, or not, and then they'll disappear, and that's fine too. But so I did that, and so I had to go price hunting on this stuff because none of it's free. Uh, and so I found, like, my website's hosted on Wix, and Wix lets you set up an automation for up to 10 things
Oh, wow.
um, for free, or in their like normal account, premium account of a website. You can have two automations going that are up to 10 steps each for free, which is way better than like MailChimp and other things I was looking at that were anywhere from $30 a month to $300 a month, depending. It's
Wow.
like, so I found that Wix was the way, at least for now, while I'm doing trials and still kind of figuring things out. I don't want to be spending money on trials. Um, So that's all built, and next I have to do is build the Facebook ads that will go with them, because once they visit my website and get the PDF, I'll have their email address, and then I'll tell Facebook, hey, the people with these email addresses and the people that have visited my site should see these ads. Um,
Oh wow.
so since like email has an open rate, if you're like really good, of like 20%, like it means that even though I'm sending them 10 emails, most of them by far are not going to open them, but they will all be targeted on Facebook. So hopefully one way or another, they'll see some of my content, and maybe they'll
That's
see it
awesome.
twice. A few of them will see it twice, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Um, and then the last, I'm not selling at all for the first like 8 emails, and then like the last email is like, here's the course, here's a discount code, go today. And then the last one's like, last chance to use the discount code, also if you want a free t-shirt, I'm throwing that in, give me your t-shirt size. And then that's it. So I designed a t-shirt for my course. That was another fun thing I
Nice.
did. um and it says podcasters are people too, and then it has podcast startup course. I don't know what it means, but I thought it was silly. It's an easy giveaway, so whatever. Um, and then yeah, so I've been working on that. I think hopefully this weekend I'm gonna finish the Facebook retargeting. So by next week, my big goal would be that all of this is going for like a 1 week trial run, and we'll be in the middle of it by next Friday. Um,
Nice.
and so I plan to spend, $100, maybe $200 on Facebook ads. Probably closer to $200 actually on Facebook ads, because it's going to be Facebook ads to give away the PDF, and then Facebook ads to retarget. And I'm going to be actively, like I did before, seeing which ads are actually getting attention and which ones are not, and just turning off the ones that are not, so I'm not spending money on them.
Nice.
Um, we'll see how that goes. So if all goes well, I should be in the middle of that trial next Friday. And then the other thing I did is I did not hire an assistant,
Okay.
but I did. um, I have an assistant who is not an employee now,
Okay.
as of yesterday. So I have a friend who works in the film and TV industry, and has her own
Mhm.
production company. And she's a busy mom, and she's looking for some work on the side. And with her knowledge of the industry, I thought this is my opportunity to really push that forward, the music stuff forward,
Mhm.
and in the film and TV world. So I was talking with her, and she said she'd be happy to do it. And she wanted to do it as a business to business, like um, she's got a business, and she would just bill me, send me an
Cool.
invoice, which is, a hell of a lot cheaper, or a hell of a lot easier on the paperwork, a little bit cheaper, because now I pay gross receipts tax as opposed to employment tax or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a wash there, but a little bit cheaper. But hell of a lot simpler on the like employee side of paperwork and time tracking and all that stuff. So
Totally.
I've hired my second contractor. Now I have a bookkeeper and like a 10-hour a week assistant,
That's
who's going to
awesome.
be pushing some things forward, and probably doing some stuff for us for Unstuck as well, because it's not just music I'm having her do. I'm doing it for all my businesses, but that's her passion and interests, and
Sweet.
that's what I'm going to make her spend the bulk of her time on, and see if I can get any traction there. Um,
That's awesome.
so that's very exciting, and I just trained her yesterday, so we'll see how this goes. Um,
I think that'll be a good use of your time, and that's less of an HR nightmare as well.
agreed. So I think that'll work out well. I'm excited to see how this goes. My kind of loose plan on the state of the world and my personal life and all of these things is that I know I have the budget and the runway to afford her and
Mm.
things as they are through the rest of this year.
Mhm.
So I'm going to give it a good solid push and see if anything starts making more money. Um, and whatever does, you start focusing on that more, and then
Yeah, totally.
next year, like the rest of this year will kind of give me something to focus on for next year, hopefully. Like it'll be like, cool, maybe the podcast startup course doesn't fly at all, but Unstuck's taking off, or JBit's taking off in a way that I need to hire technicians, or something should be different in the next 4 months, right? And that'll give me something to focus on for 2021, while we'll probably still be, at least in the States, in pandemic land. and um
Yeah.
and unless there's a miracle vaccine, which is awesome if that happens. But um since places like Google and Facebook and Dropbox are telling employees, we're not going to have you in the office until third quarter of 2021 at the earliest, I can tell you that that's what people are looking at. And
Wow.
so I'm looking at it like, cool, if I can really do a push the end of this year, that'll focus something to focus on for all of next year. And then I will have probably built something, is obviously the goal. Um, and or I will create something different, but I
Yeah.
probably will create something different anyway, because that's just my nature. But I will my idea and goal is to have something, and preferably something online related, that I can make money without physically seeing too many people through
Yeah.
most of 2021. That would be my goal. So long-term goals, writing that in my life book and whatnot. And then the last thing, which I won't spend too much time on because it's visual, I'm rebranding JBit. So
Oh.
yeah, I have a graphic designer in my office, which I
Yeah.
asked her um, to try make me something, and unfortunately, she couldn't really come up with anything because I didn't really have any direction. I was just like, I don't know, different, better, which is terrible direction. But I just had no idea what I wanted. But currently, my symbol for JBit is me holding a whipping a monster laptop um, in like a circus type setting, like a lion tamer, because the slogan is taming technology. So I knew that eventually I was going to want to rebrand, because eventually I'd want JBit to be less about me, the guy, and more about we will fix your computer, right? So
Yeah.
the transition is starting now with a new logo of not a cartoon of me anymore, and so that's exciting. And I will I'm gonna post. I'll say this right now. I'm gonna post some of my options. I went to
Yeah.
48 hour. What is it? Hold on. Do. I went to 48hourslogo.com,
Hmm.
which they're not a sponsor, but somebody recommended them to me. You pay $99 and you get a bunch of designers to uh, submit designs, and you pick one and you pay them for it. And
Oh wow.
so my idea was like, well, if a bunch of designers from all around the world come up with ideas, even if it's not like flawless, it'll probably brainstorm me some ideas that I can give to my designer in that shares an office with me, and be like,
Yeah.
okay, here's some direction. Like make this one better. So I've got a wide range of things, and I've been narrowing them down to things that I like. But I'll post that on Instagram, and if any of you guys have opinions, I'd love to hear them, because I'm also like market testing this thing.
I'm stoked to see them. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see the direction that you end up going. Does this mean you also have to rewrap your car?
Yes, but here's the plan. So I'm not completely rebranding, because that mostly the car, like that's an expense, and I don't I don't want to deal with that. So I'm actually just replacing the symbol in the logo, and the
Okay.
text and the lines and all that stuff is going to stay the same. So we're going to rip out the circle with me in it off the car and put in a new circle on top of it. And so it's not like a completely different logo, but it's just the symbol part of it is going to be different. So
Got it. Okay, that's
for
probably
for
smarter
budgetary
than
reasons,
that's
mostly.
fair.
I mean, I also like the rest of the logo, but like I wouldn't be so married to it if it was like free. I'd be like, yeah, let's look at
Yeah.
other things too. But it's like I'm gonna get new business cards either way. I'm almost out anyway, so this is like perfect timing.
Yeah.
But the car is like, ugh, do I want to spend like, I forget what I spent on that, like $600-700 again?
Yeah,
Or
dude,
he'll
that's a lot.
probably do it for like 100, the edits to it, So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd rather just do the edits. Yeah, so we'll see. how all that goes. But my goals for next week are be in the middle of this campaign for podcast startup course, have a
Nice.
week under my belt of this new assistant thing, see how that goes, and probably have a logo or be very close to a
Sweet.
finalized logo. So
I'm really excited for your upcoming week. It sounds like
yeah,
fun.
it should be a fun week. Should be a fun week. So yeah. All right. Well, I guess we've been gabbing for way too long. Like a couple of schoolgirls. I don't know. Schoolgirls gab? I don't even know where I'm going with this.
I'm sure they do.
But it's late there. It's early here. Let's call it a wrap on Casual Friday. Oh, by the way, we ran out of time because of technical things last episode, but we posted on our social media. We gave away a half-hour coaching brainstorm session to Enid Jones, who left a 5-star review on our Apple podcast. So, congrats, Enid. Your job is to just email us at unstuck.institute@gmail.com and we can set that up for you. And if the rest of you are interested in either helping out the show or being in that drawing for next month, write us a 5-star written review on Apple iTunes.
Thanks, guys, and talk to you next week.
Talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.